Hi everyone. Today I'm going to be reading Those Shoes by Mary Beth Boltz and illustrated by Noah Z. Jones. So before we get into the book, let's look at the picture on the cover. What do we notice about the boys? And also, what do we think the importance of the shoe is? So what do we think the story is going to be about? All right, let's get started. So first you can see it's fall. I have dreams about those shoes. Black high tops, 2 white stripes. Grandma, I want them. There's no room for want around here. Just need, Grandma says. And what you need are new boots for winter. So the grandma is talking about some wants and some needs. Do we know what the difference between a want and a need is? Brandon T comes to school in those shoes. He says he's the fastest runner now, not me. I was always the fastest before those shoes came along. Nate comes to school in those shoes. Antonio and I count how many times Nate goes to the bathroom. 7 times in one day, just so he can walk up and down the hall real slow. Next, Alan, Jacoby, and Terrence each get a pair. How do we think Jeremy is feeling now that all of his friends have the shoes that he wants and he doesn't have them? Then one day in the middle of kickball, one of my shoes comes apart. Looks like you could use a new pair, Jeremy, Mr. Alfred, the guidance counselor, says. He brings out a box of shoes and other stuff he has for kids who need things. He helps me find the only pair of shoes that are my size. Velcro, like the ones my little cousin Marshall wears. They have an animal on them from a cartoon I don't think any kid has ever watched. When I come back to the classroom, Alan Jacoby takes one look at my Mr. Alfred shoes and laughs. And so do Terrence, Brandon T, and everyone else. The only kid not laughing is Antonio Parker. At home, Grandma says, "How kind of Mr. Alfred." I nod and turn my back. I'm not going to cry about any dumb shoes. But when I'm writing my spelling words later, every word looks like the word shoes. And my grip is so tight on my pencil, I think it might bust. So what does it feel like if your classmates have ever laughed at you guys? How did you feel? Did it make you happy or sad? Did it make you uncomfortable? On Saturday, Grandma says, "Let's check out those shoes you're wanting so much. I got a little bit of money set aside. Might be enough, you never know." At the shoe store, Grandma turns those shoes over so she can check the price. When she sees it, she sits down heavy. "Maybe they wrote it down wrong," I say. Grandma shakes her head. Then I remember the thrift shops. What if there's a rich kid who outgrew his or got 2 pairs for Christmas and had to give them away? We ride the bus to the first thrift shop. Black cowboy boots, pink slippers, sandals, high heels, every kind of shoe except the ones I want. We ride the bus to the second thrift shop. Not a pair of those shoes in sight. Around the corner is the third thrift shop. I see something in the window. Let's make a prediction. What do we think Jeremy saw in the window of the third thrift shop? Black shoes with 2 white stripes, high tops, perfect shape, $2.50. Those shoes. My heart is pounding hard as I take off my shoes and hitch up my baggy socks. "How exciting," Grandma says. "What size are they?" I shove my foot into the first shoe, curling my toes to get my heel in. "I don't know, but I think they fit." So we see Jeremy is squeezing his feet in. I think they might be too small for him. Have you guys ever wanted something so bad that you would do anything to get it? Grandma kneels on the floor and feels for my toes at the end of the shoe. Oh, Jeremy, she says, I can't spend good money on shoes that don't fit. Let's make a prediction. Thumbs up if you think he's going to get the shoes. Thumbs down if you think he's not going to buy the shoes. Let's see. I pull the other shoe on and try to walk around. They're okay, I say, holding my breath and praying that my toes will fall off right then and there. But my toes don't fall off. I buy them anyway with my own money, and I squeeze them on and limp to the bus stop. At home a few days later, Grandma puts a new pair of snow boots in my closet and doesn't say a word about my two big feet shuffling around in my two small shoes. Sometimes shoes stretch, I say. Grandma gives me a hug. I check every day, but those shoes don't stretch. I have to wear my Mr. Alfreys to school instead. One day during math, I glance at Antonio's shoes. One of them is taped up, and his feet look smaller than mine. After school, I head to the park to think. Antonio is there, the only kid who didn't laugh at my Mr. Alfrey shoes. We shoot baskets. A loose piece of tape on Antonio's shoes smacks the concrete every time he jumps. I think, I'm not going to do it. We leap off the swings. I'm not going to do it. We race from one end of the playground to the other. I'm not going to do it, I say. Do what? Antonio says, breathing hard. What is Jeremy talking about when he says I'm not going to do it? And what do we think he's going to do now? Let's see. Grandma calls me for supper and invites Antonio over too. After supper, he spies my shoes. How come you don't wear them? Antonio asks. I shrug. My hands are sweaty. I can feel him wishing those shoes were his. That night, I'm awake for a long time thinking about Antonio. When morning comes, I try on my shoes one last time. Before I can change my mind, the shoes are in my coat. Snow's beginning to fall as I run across the street to Antonio's apartment. I put the shoes in front of his door, push the doorbell, and run. So it looks like Jeremy gave Antonio those shoes. How do you guys feel when you do something nice for other people? Good. At school, Antonio is smiling big in his brand new shoes. I feel really happy when I look at his face, and mad when I look at my Mr. Alfrey shoes. But later, when it's time for recess, something happens. Everywhere, there's snow. Leave your shoes in the hall and change into your boots, the teacher announces. Leave your shoes in the hall? It's then I remember what I have in my backpack. New boots. New black boots that no kid has ever worn before. Standing in line to go to recess, Antonio leans forward and says, "Thanks." I smile and give him a nudge. Let's race! So now they're out playing in the snow because it's winter time. So it went from fall to winter during the story. So what lesson did we think Jeremy learned from this experience? And what was your favorite part of the story? So for an after reading activity, I would have a discussion with the class asking, can we only show kindness and generosity if we have money? After that discussion, I would talk a little bit about what it means to pay it forward and give examples, and then have them give me examples from things that they have experienced. And for the assignment, I would have the kids go out and pay it forward to somebody so they could help their mom do the dishes, help their brother read a story at night, or do something like that. And then the next day, they'll come back to class and they can write about it and share it with the rest of their classmates. Thank you for listening.